Hey guys, Tekify, and today I've got my first keyboard comparison. So I've got two 60% budget mechanical keyboards. In my right hand I have the Geek GK61, which was my last video, and the Royal Kludge RK61, which was the first 60% mechanical keyboard I reviewed on the channel. The Geek GK61 is $55, whereas the Royal Kludge RK61 is a bit cheaper at just $45 or $50 if you opt for the RGB version. If you are just here for a sound comparison, then you can skip to this time here or just use the video chapters, but I recommend you watch the rest of the video afterwards. If you do enjoy the video, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm nearly at 3,000 subs and I will be doing a giveaway which you don't want to miss. Also, make sure you join the Discord, the link will be in the description for that as well. But obviously I expect you to watch the video first. So guys, let's get into this. The first thing is the build quality. Both these keyboards are quite similar in the way they look, and they are both very well built. They're both absolutely solid. The Geek GK61 is a bit heavier and just has a bit more weight and just strength to it overall, but neither keyboards had any flex or anything like that, so both were really well built. Similarly, they both have no flick out feet, so the default typing angle is what you get, and that obviously can be annoying. It is nice to have that adjustability. That being said, I had no problem with either of the default angles. And as you can see here, the default typing angles are almost identical, so they have about the same level of comfort, and I had no issue with either of them once again. We'll get onto wireless in a minute, however both for wired use USB Type-C. The one on the Geek GK61 fits in on the left hand side, whereas the one on the Royal Kludge is in the middle. If you're a left-handed user, then this could be an issue for you, but if you're right-handed, this on the left hand side allows much more space for using your mouse while gaming, so I personally prefer this. The included keycaps felt nice on both. I'd honestly don't think either one is better than the other. Both felt nice enough and perform well enough, and once again you can get new keycap sets and completely customize these keyboards, so that's obviously something you can do. For the key switches themselves, both these two keyboards I'm comparing have brown switches, however they are available in other switches. Royal Kludges are available in red and blues as well, whereas you can get almost any Gateron switch on the Geek GK61 since it's hot swappable. The Gateron optical switches on the Geek GK61 just did feel faster and more responsive, but not significantly. You're not really going to notice it in games. You're not going to feel like you've got any delay with the Royal Kludge RK61, so I definitely don't think that's something to worry about, but having optical switches is certainly nice to have. In addition to this, they are hot swappable on the GK61. This means you can buy a new set of switches and easily swap them out yourself, which is certainly really cool. It means if you get bored of a switch or you didn't like the one you bought, you don't have to buy a whole new keyboard. You can just swap out the switches and just change it to how you're feeling at the moment. One thing to be careful of is it is quite easy to damage the keyboard itself while pulling out the switches, as you can see here, but it's not too big a deal and you'll be fine if you're careful. So for those of you interested, here's a nice typing test comparing the sound of the Geek GK61 and Royal Kludge RK61. Once again, both these use brown switches. These keyboards are both 60%, that's obvious, I just want to mention it though, as I personally really miss the delete keys and dedicated arrow keys, which is something that may bother you, but if it doesn't, then 60% is a great compact size and it really gives you so much more space when you're gaming. So obviously so far it seems like while it costs extra money, the big advantage of the Geek GK61 is Gateron optical switches and they're hot swappable. And that is great. However, one thing it does lack, which the RK61 has, is dual mode. So you can use the RK61 in Bluetooth. As you can see, it's not plugged in and it's lit up here, and that's because it has Bluetooth capability. My Geek GK61 is wired only. It is possible to get this keyboard in Bluetooth, however I assume that's slightly more. Assuming you have a good Bluetooth adapter or dongle, the Bluetooth experience, the wireless experience on the RK61 was very good. I had no issues with it and the latency was relatively small. I think once again, if you have a good Bluetooth card or good Bluetooth dongle, you could actually game with this on wireless, which is really cool and definitely nice. Battery life also isn't too bad, especially if you have the lights off, then you actually get a good amount of time before you need to charge it again. And for the line software, the Geek GK61 is fully RGB, looks really vibrant and really cool, and I really like it. There's also software available, I believe. It's not great though, but it does the job and allows you to customize it even more. However, for me personally, there were plenty of onboard modes on the keyboard, and it looks really great. As for the RK61, it's a bit of a different story. So with my version, there is no RGB, however, for $5 more, you can get an RGB version, which I definitely recommend spending the money on. If you care about how it looks at all, or you plan to use the lighting, then definitely $5 for an RGB version of this keyboard really makes it even better value for money in my opinion. Well, what's the verdict? Both these keyboards are great and I can recommend them both. Unless you can find a wireless version of the Geek GK61 and it's not out of your price range. If you want wireless, then obviously the RK61 is the way to go. If you're going to just use it wired anyway and you never plan to use the wireless, then the Geek GK61 is the better keyboard. That being said, it is $10 more than this non-RGB version. So if that $10 could be spent on a better mouse or anything else like that, or it just is quite a stretch for you, then the RK61 is still a really solid option. You do miss out on optical switches and hot swap functionality, but that's not too big of a deal. As long as you get the switches you're happy with in the first place, you're not going to be changing them, and while optical switches do feel better and are much better on paper, the real world difference is really not noticeable. As I said though, both these keyboards are great and I can recommend them both, so whichever one you can afford in your price range, then I definitely recommend you get that one. For your next video, go check out the full reviews of both of these keyboards, or I have a full keyboard playlist of mechanical keyboards I've reviewed. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and come and join the Discord and hang out. If you want to look as cool as me, and I know you do, you can get yourself some merch at tekify.co.uk/merch. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys next time.